Now, one of the things that I've seen claimed that has been particularly irritating to me because of my experience with Syria. I have been in Aleppo City. Aleppo City is the biggest city in Syria, or it was at least before the war began. And there was a tremendous battle. Some call it the Stalingrad of the Syrian war, which is not a bad comparison. It was a terribly bitter battle that went on from 2012 until 2016. In the course of urban combat, any forces that are fighting are forced to destroy buildings. Buildings are blown down on a massive scale. And this happens anytime that you have urban combat. So I have walked the streets of Aleppo while combat was still in progress. The war began in 2011 when the United States landed Central Intelligence operatives to begin coordinating with Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. And we have been unwavering supporters of Al-Qaeda since before the war formally began. We are supporters of Al-Qaeda today, where they're bottled up in Idlib province. The CIA supplied them under secret Operation Timber Sycamore. We gave them all of their anti-tank weapons, all of their anti-air missiles. And Al-Qaeda has always been our proxy force on the ground. They, together with ISIS, have carried out the mission of the United States, together with a great number of affiliates that really are kind of interchangeable. You have the Free Syrian Army. Soldiers move from ISIS to Al-Qaeda to Free Syrian Army rather fluidly. And so we started that war, but the United States has a strategic policy of using proxies to engage in war. And our objective was overthrow the legitimate government of Syria. And in order to do that, we employed proxy soldiers who were the most vile of all terrorists. Something very similar is happening right now in Ukraine. And they had fought this bitter urban combat, very brutal, very deadly. And they had fought it for 4 years before Russia ever joined the battle. So after 4 years, the city of Aleppo had enormous destruction. And at that point, the Russians, at the invitation of the legitimate government of Syria, entered the war. And by this time, the Syrians had pretty well worn down the terrorist forces, and the Russian assistance was able to tip the balance, and Aleppo was the grand victory of the entire Syrian war. But to blame the Russians for the massive destruction that took place within Aleppo, it's bizarre, because they were not there. They were not even present when this happened. So this is simply another part of the propaganda narrative, which has been very effective for the West, demonizing Russia. So no, Russia was not in any respect responsible for the massive destruction of the city of Aleppo.